Just so you know, this isn't a personal attack on what you may or may not like. This is just my opinion. I'm not forcing you to agree with me. I just think that just such a stagnant stage for gaming, and if you still like them, good for you, but I don't care. I just really wanted to address it, and looking at my poll on Twitter, it looks like a lot of people who mostly watch my videos care about it too, so I'm making the video, whether you like it or not. I grew up in the golden age of gaming, where games were really starting to branch out, and gameplay and graphics were accelerating at an extraordinary rate. I remember running home from school with my best friend and binge playing games for hours on end, and when I grew up I started playing older rated games. I was amazed at how engaging a story could be even while being a dumb 12-year-old with a barely critical mind. Games like Telltale's excellent character-focused Walking Dead and the superb Spec Ops: The Line, both of which I've recently replayed. But now, in 2016, I haven't played a game that's absolutely amazed me in years. If the fact you can play as a space super soldier, or being able to play with some time powers is enough to get your cock hard on the idea alone, then I guess it's fine for you, but I want more than just gratuitous game mechanics with no conceivable story or enjoyable gameplay. And then you get idiots who think, if you don't like X game, then why are you playing it? Because maybe to have an opinion on something, you have to play it. Or, I like Call of Duty, so I'm gonna let this garbage game off. I'm not a fastidious person, but when gaming has become this watered down shell of an experience, it just feels like no matter what the genre, I can't enjoy it anymore. I also don't think every shooter game has to be as dark as bleak as something like Spec Ops: The Line to be hailed as a rewarding experience. But I don't think games like GTA Online should get a pass with their microtransactions and their repetitive gameplay just because it's just a game. You have to find a middle ground. Spec Ops: The Line was a bona fide, well-made game. It has characters, great dialogue, thought-provoking themes, and emotionally gripping storytelling. Gameplay that is so well done it doesn't interfere with how the plot and the gameplay mix. It presents itself as a rare damning criticism of the very genre they're in themselves. On a completely different tone, we have something like COD 4. It takes itself way less serious.
What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh? How a muppet like you pass selection?
It still has a story that makes sense, good interesting characters, and gameplay that was so innovative at the time it still holds up nearly 10 years later. But that makes you feel old. For me, it's if the gameplay and story can combine in a way that can create an intriguing narrative that keeps you engrossed and wanting to finish the game no matter what. Not, wow, I have a jetpack and can climb on walls. It's so fucking good. It's just tedious and uninspiring after 5 minutes. You can do all the crazy shit you want, but without any intrigue to the characters and the tension, I'm not going to give a shit about your time powers. And when gameplay is so watered down, every single way to take down a boss or complete an objective is thrown at you and is insulting to your intelligence. Two of my favourite games showcase an excellent understanding and when to have a tutorial and when to let the player find out and do his own thing. These two games are Shadow of the Colossus and South Park: The Stick of Truth. Both games have tutorials, but they know when to tell and when not to tell. They let you figure out ways to bring down your enemy instead of this, for example, from one of my personal favourite YouTubers, Nerdcubed. He sums it up perfectly.
So basically, the way to defeat this boss is to hold down 2 buttons, so you web swing, and then when something glows, just push the little E button and you win. Web shoot the reactors on its legs, or the game will tell you what to do. Remember when bosses used to be fun?
Another point I would like to make is the fact we have so little new IPs now. Every developer is trying to make their own Call of Duty or GTA. Games like Mafia 3 being pushed out the door clearly far too early, at least on the PC version, just so they can make more profit. I was lucky enough to get a refund on that game, but they just took out elements that were beloved by Mafia fans in what seemed like an attempt to make more of a Sainsbury's basic GTA 5 60s DLC, or games like Battlefield Hardline. They forgot that existed. That clearly didn't have any kind of the thought or the planning that goes into the main series, like Battlefield 1, and is just there to be a quick cash cow for EA. I'm sure both of these games will have fans that will flock to defend it, but this isn't some mindless choice I've made to dislike these games. I really want to like both these games, but I just simply can't. And those are just two of the many victims of these disorganized games that are rushed out the door by developers to make more money. And speaking of games that are being pumped out and ruined just for the sake of money, holy fucking shit, Infinite Warfare looks dreadful. I mean, like, horribly bad. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just need to quickly talk about this. The gameplay looks absolutely awful. The maps are just so over the top, they have no feeling or memorable quality about them. It has worse graphics than a remaster of a 9-year-old game it comes with. It's something you could have joked about 5 years ago, but now the market is actually that desperate and stale. Devs do anything that could possibly make a bit of money. Games like Destiny that have 500 million marketing budgets. but turning out to be a bland, uninteresting husk of a game without any coherent story or interesting characters. It does make me wonder why people get so excited for this Xbox One Scorpio and the PS4 Pro. What are you actually going to play? A handful of good games whilst corporations like Microsoft and Sony suck each other off how much profit they're turning. And that can just be from the pre-orders alone. I'm no saint, I pre-order. I did pre-order Mafia 3. I've pre-ordered South Park The Fractured But Whole. But just seeing the broken state of some games like that, Mafia 3, and if you remember Battlefield 4's abysmal launch.
What am I looking at?
Are you fucking serious? No, okay. No, fuck. Oh.
Or even just incredibly overhyped games. Don't really like using that word. But overhyped is the only way I can really put it at the moment. Games like No Man's Sky losing 92% of its player base after 2 weeks just goes to show that people are genuinely getting sick of being sold on false, immoral lies. Anyway, those are pretty much just my thoughts on the whole gaming market at the moment, and how I think it's just going completely downhill. It's mostly just AAA games I've mentioned here, as indie titles are having somewhat of a breakout. I highly doubt indie games can have a modicum of an impact on the general gaming audience. It's just not possible due to their budgets. Maybe it's just because I'm being overly cynical or something. I don't know, but this took a long time to write and edit. In fact, I've been working on it for nearly a week. So any likes, shares to Twitter and Facebook, and of course, any new subscribers are very much appreciated. And I'd also like to thank my friends Ben, Lewis, Gohermi, and Billy for helping out with some of the notes and making of the video. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.